Despite rising COVID-19 infections and the risk of violence, tens of thousands of Colombians took to the streets for a fourth straight day on Saturday. In Bogota, one group gathered at the National Park to continue protesting against a controversial tax reform that they say would raise taxes on the middle class at a time of great economic pain. Among them, 28-year-old Monica Paredes, who lost her job during the pandemic.
I still haven't been able to pay my 9-year-old son's school tuition because last year has been horrible for me. We're tired of not having a decent health system, of not having institutions that work in our favor.
Rising poverty and unemployment following COVID-19 restrictions have people increasingly venting their anger in the streets, openly defying official pleas to stay home.
It's easy to stay home when you're not hungry, but poor head of household women don't have that luxury and have to sell informally on the streets to survive. That's why we're marching to tell this government we are hungry and we need help.
Isolated looting, vandalism and clashes marked the previous days, especially in Colombia's third largest city, Cali, where at least 3 people have died, allegedly shot by the police. But human rights organizations say the real death toll could be much higher. On Saturday, most of the day was peaceful until the police stopped a group of demonstrators.
The protesters are now trying to reach the private home of President Ivan Duque, which is roughly a couple of blocks of here. There's a huge police presence in front of his condominium. And as you can see here, the police in anti-riot gear is stopping the protesters from moving forward.
As protesters tried to move on, the police shot tear gas and stun grenades. Protesters responded, hurling rocks and burning barricades. The chaos has forced President Ivan Duque to backpedal on the tax reform plans, promising to rewrite the bill excluding taxes on basic food items, utilities and gasoline that angered protesters. But some analysts believe it will not be enough.
And I think that the government hasn't understood that. The political class is not discussing that. They think that just withdrawing the tax reform is going to be enough to appease the protest. But I think that we're past that point, and basically the sort of conversation that we need from this moment on has to deal with many more issues than the tax reform.
Once again, clashes continued into the evening, signaling that protesters will not easily stop. Alessandro Rampietti, Jazeera, Bogota.